Hey, welcome friends. This is Dr. Heather coming to you live from Ask Dr. Heather, also known as the Keto Doc. So super excited to be here with you tonight. Sorry, I have taken a few days off my live. We've been actually very busy with our house. We're actually getting to make a huge transition. We're putting our house on the market and we're downsizing. Our youngest of 4 boys just went away to college, so it's time to actually be a little more eco-friendly, consume less space as a consumer, and have a much smaller house. But excited to be here tonight, having lots of questions. There's a hot topic that's going on that I'm too nervous to talk about, which has to do with libido and sex drive, which we'll talk about soon, about what does that have to do with foods and ketones. We could actually talk about that for a couple minutes as people are popping on. But let me know where you're joining from. If that's something you'd like to hear about, just raise your hand and put me be me, because there is a lot of truth about that. People know that when people are depressed, they actually don't have a sex drive, they don't have libido. What does that have to do with ketones? We know ketones calm down the nervous system and have a lot to do with brain neurotransmitters. That was not my topic for tonight. That was Dr. Ralph's topic for tonight. So hey Val, hey Justin, thanks for joining me here. But let's talk about misconceptions. I get hundreds and hundreds of questions about exogenous ketones. Why would you drink an exogenous ketone? Why would you even talk about it? Why would you support it? Well, as a healthcare provider and as a farm girl from Kansas, I know the soil is very depleted. We used to have 18 inches of topsoil. Now we only have a couple inches of topsoil. We are very nutrient depleted. Even if you ate 12 cups of vegetables, above ground greens, you would still be nutrient depleted in different vitamins because we're exposed to toxins. We don't have very good guts these days. We're overstressed. So why am I such a huge advocate for exogenous ketones? I want to ask you guys a question here. If you had a friend who was a smoker and you know that smoking is not good for you, would you let them wear a patch, like a cigarette patch? Or could they use acupuncture to stop smoking? I would think everyone would say yes. I think hypnosis or acupuncture or wearing a smoker's patch or using the gum, you absolutely support someone who would stop doing something that's harmful to their health. We know sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So if you know someone who is addicted to sugar, would you let them use acupuncture to stop being addicted to sugar? Would you let them use hypnosis or biofeedback or maybe some genema, which is an herb we use in our office to help people who are addicted to sugar? My thing is yes. Well, how about exogenous ketones that actually help you stop the cravings for things like sugar? We also know how good they are for your health. Well, I actually was on a ketogenic diet several times in my life, but in 2014, I had a skiing accident and I went on a ketogenic diet because I was going to be on crutches for about 6 weeks, but was not going to be able to run or back running kickboxing for about 9 months was the first initial diagnosis. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to preserve my lean muscle mass. I was 47, 48 at the time, and I didn't want to lose any of my lean muscle mass. And I knew the ketogenic diet preserved your lean muscle mass. So that's the first reason I went on the ketogenic diet. However, I had a really hard time staying in ketosis. I would get mad because my ketone level wasn't higher. My stick would register no. And then as things progressed, as I had more surgeries on my leg, I started having some seizures. I started having some muscle movements, like my shoulder would do this. I was having eye twinges. I was losing some vision in my eye. I was having hand tremors. I was embarrassing my kids. I would see my kids look at my husband like, what's happening to mom? Why is that going on? I knew the power of ketones. I knew what the ketogenic diet was about muscle movement disorders. I went to the top brain centers in the US with some of the top functional neurologists, and it's the ketogenic diet. So I'm going to shake mine up here. So I knew the power of the ketones, and exogenous ketones weren't out yet. I knew Dr. Karen Clark in the 1970s had tried to make an exogenous ketones, but I was literally stirring up coconut oil, fermented greens, and some type of nut butter, cashew butter, macadamia nut butter, varying type of butter, and still had a really hard time staying in ketosis. Couldn't get my ketone level above 1.0, 1.0. I would have my cycle that time of the month, and I would actually dip down out of it. I was getting depressed because I couldn't get in ketosis. I knew it was important to stop the muscle movement disorder, wasn't sleeping, wasn't having pain. So all those things were actually keeping my body out of ketosis. I wasn't doing this for a patient this time. This was for me. I'd been in ketosis before as an accountability partner for a patient who was going through some health crisis. I'd been in ketosis after my 4th baby. I had a yeast issue or a chronic candida issue. I'd been in ketosis before. I didn't have this much trouble. I've coached patients who'd had trouble getting ketosis, staying in ketosis, either because they were so addicted to sugar or because their body just wouldn't let them do it. Their liver was so toxic or was just so full full of different additives or they had so much stress in their life. So when I actually had the opportunity to taste pure therapeutic exogenous ketones, know that it was Dr. Dami D'Agostino's formula, who was actually doing this through the Department of Defense, the DOD. I was all in. I simply drank one serving and my ketone level popped up. The redness in my legs went down. I'm like, I know what ketones can do in your body when your level gets high enough. So that was it for me. So people keep saying, why would you support that? Like if I have a patient that's anemic, I'm going to give them a whole food iron supplement from dandelion greens and buckwheat leaf and different things, not ferrous sulfate, but whole foods. If people come in, their calcium's low, we're going to teach them to eat foods that are rich in calcium. Someone comes in with low testosterone, we're going to have them eat salmon and walnuts and foods that actually are high to help raise their testosterone level, and give them herbs like tribulus and saw palmetto, not give them just a shot of testosterone, but herbs that do that. So it makes sense to me to say, have pure therapeutic ketones, eat healthy fats in your diet, help calm your nervous system down, and do things through lifestyle, do things through supplementation that your body's not allowed to do. So that's where I stand on that. But I want people just to think about that. It's such an amazing tool that we've been able to use in our office now for over 5 years. And for myself, it's been an amazing tool. But I want to actually clear up some misconception. Number one, I don't ever tell anybody, just eat anything you want, eat everything, every drive-through, and just drink the ketones and you'll lose magical weight. Because we know it's about brain health, or if you're trying to actually help calm the brain system down, you have an over-aroused brain system, you have an over-aroused nervous system, just drink the ketones and it'll fix everything. That's a misconception. We want you eating, and this is as a corporation through Pruvit, we want you eating whole, real food. Now, if you want to eat a paleo diet, you want to eat a low-carb diet, you want to eat a keto diet, you can choose a clean, healthy diet, getting rid of additives, eating whole, real food. Yes, you can do that wherever you want those macros to be for you. Maybe you're a vegan, maybe you're a vegetarian. We respect that. But you can't just go through and eat ice cream 24/7 and drink ketones. That's a misconception. That's not anything that the company has said. That's why I love this company. And the same thing, we use other companies in our office. We use companies that practice what we preach, so to say, which is whole food concepts. So you can't eat just anything. I know people say, well, I heard somebody say that. I don't know who that person was, but the people I know are saying and changing lives, because it is about brain health. But we do know that if you're choosing a paleo diet, or maybe a zone diet, a 40-30-30 diet, or maybe you're choosing a low carb diet, we know that in the presence of exogenous ketones, so as you're drinking your ketones, that the body does release less insulin. Insulin is a fat storing hormone, so you're going to store less fat, but that doesn't mean you go have a peanut butter parfait or a Blizzard from the Sonic, or you have a big gulp or something from QT, because you still have to get rid of those carbohydrates. You still have to burn through all that fat before your body actually burns fat. You still got to get rid of all those calories. It's not like you drink this and it erases all the calories and all the fat and all the carbohydrates. You still need to eat sensible, where you actually do promote intermittent fasting. That's why I love the Reboot. It teaches your body to reset each and every month and really identify, eat when hungry, stop when full. Number two, you don't have to be on a ketogenic diet, but it does amplify a ketogenic diet. So people say that, if you're on a ketogenic diet, then you should not drink exogenous ketones. It'll stop your body from producing ketones. Absolutely not. It actually gives your body like a boost. Think of it like a track runner. They actually start from blocks, right? You see people running a track like 100 meter or 220 meter. They have their feet in blocks to help boost them forward. That's what the ketones do, because when your body naturally makes endogenous ketones, your liver goes and grabs a fat and uncouple it. I could give you 20 incidences of patients who can't make ketones. Their liver's too toxic, they take pharmaceuticals, maybe they're on some type of anti-rejection drugs, which make their body really difficult to actually make ketones, or like me, they had so much stress or so much inflammation. Their body just has a really hard time breaking it down. They don't have enough body fat to actually break down the fat. The body's in a conservation mode, so they can't break down the fat in order to get the health benefits for their brain, or for whatever reason. Maybe they're missing part of their colon. Maybe they've had some other issues go on where their body's in a preservation mode or starvation mode and won't let them break down the healthy fat they need to make ketones. So even on a ketogenic diet with the perfect macros, yes, you can still drink ketones. I actually share it like a gift, like it's giving your body a gift, kind of priming the pump and telling your liver, yes, we're going to burn fat for fuel. Yes, we're going to make ketones. It's okay. And just like my story, I couldn't get above 0.8 and I was tired at 0.8. I was like a wet noodle, but as soon as I can get my ketone level for myself above 1.1, 1.2, then I feel like I have that Energizer Bunny. I feel great around 1.5. Some people feel great around 2.0. Oftentimes that number doesn't make a huge difference if it's 1.8, 2.0, 2.3. But what I do want the misconception to be is that people say oftentimes if you drink exogenous ketones, then your body won't make their own ketones. That is typically not true. Studies support that actually amplifies the effect and gives your body kind of like, again, priming the pump. It teaches your liver to burn fat for fuel, to burn ketones. Like your body goes, here it comes. Firstly, in the first couple of months, because oftentimes when you get into natural ketosis, when you're burning fat for fuel, your body's more likely to slide back and be a sugar burner. Like you just have one bite of popcorn, you have 2 extra red peppers. Or for me, I remember it was onions. If I cook onions and caramelize them, they turn into sugar and I would slide back out of ketosis and I'd be super mad about that. So, or take 3 blueberries, I'd be out of ketosis. So it's very easy that first really month or two for your body to slide back into be a sugar burner. Well, when you're drinking ketones, exogenous ketones, and they have to be Pruvit because Pruvit is the only one that's bioidentical to what your body makes. Your body identifies and says, oh, that's a ketone that I make. I can identify that and I can use it in the cell for energy. So it tells your body, I'm burning ketones, I'm burning ketones. So it helps keep you in that state of ketosis when you're sleeping, when you're going to bed, when you wake up. So even when you have a stressor that hits, it helps your body keep it there and keep it maintained there. So number 3, it's expensive pee. Who's heard that? Put like a high five. Put me down there. Like I've heard that. It's an expensive pee. Like as people hold the pee strip up in the bag. The gold standard for testing if you're in ketosis is a ketone strip. Before Pruvit ever came to market, before our amazing CEO even knew what Pruvit, he was even going to have Pruvit, people have been testing ketosis. In the 1990s, I was using the strips when I was on the Atkins diet before we even went on the ketogenic diet. So those are the gold standards, the blood meters for ketone meters, and for testing for ketoacidosis, that's the gold standard even before Pruvit came to market, even before these other companies came to market. And since we do have several patents on our product, that also lets you know that since we have patents, I think 9 patents, 8 patents on our product, we have the locking key on the beta hydroxybutyrate. So the other companies have a racemic mixture. I'm getting into number 4. But with that being said, it's not expensive pee. Your body's saturating using the ketones because they're water soluble. It uses what it needs and eliminates out what it doesn't need. And I do want to say hi to everybody. Sorry, I get so passionate about this. I forget to say hi. Where are you watching from? What time is it at your house? I never know what time to join in and pop in here. What are you having for dinner? I know I talk fast, but I thought, I just told Dr. Ralph, I'm like, I got to get on here. I got to say this. I got to do a live. I got the salmon already thawed out and ready to go, and he's put in the oven. So let me know where you guys are coming from. Let me know what you're thinking, because I know people are going to not agree with me, and that's okay. It's okay not to agree with me. But again, when people say it's expensive pee and they hold the ketones over the strip in the toilet, that's how we always test the people who are in regular ketogenic diet, exogenous ketones or endogenous ketones. You're all testing the same way. It's the same test. So, okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Number 4 is that all ketones are the same. Pruvits are just more expensive. Ours are more expensive because they are the only pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. We have several patents to make something gluten-free and stamp gluten-free, to make the salts kosher-free and stamp it, to say that it is soy-free, to say it is dairy-free, to have that it is the only racemic mixture. Those are little stamps. We know that we have to go through several amounts of testing. Each batch is tested to say that there's no antimicrobials in there, there's no heavy metals in there. All those are tested each and every time. And I can tell you, I think when we first opened the company, I may be wrong in this, so just let me quote myself, that I think it was like 31, I don't know, it was like 31, I don't know, so many thousands of dollars for a barrel of ketones. Back in 2015, we came to market. Thousands of dollars for a barrel. Now we know prices come down because once one person knows how to manufacture it, we get the patent on it. Now we know how to make it. It was very, very expensive. We would actually, in 2015, we placed an order Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday by noon Central Standard Time. Then they would actually start placing the order. Then they would make the ketones, and then they would make them. Then they had a a 5-day manufacturing process, and then we'd testing for 5 days, sent out to the lab, and then it would come back, and then you get it a couple weeks later, just like you would actually order an expensive piece of custom furniture or a car. You know, how many weeks is it to get a Tesla? Like 13 weeks or something. It's the same way with Pruvit. It would take an order, then they would manufacture it. Take an order and manufacture it, then you receive it. So as we know, I went through every major standard of testing. That's why when you look at the back of the box, there's so many patents on there. And if you do order it on a third party, which I would not recommend, I've had patients do that, they generally come expired, like on Etsy or eBay or on Amazon. They come expired. It's not the flavor that they said it was. People want non-caffeine or caffeine. It generally comes not what they ordered. So I would not recommend doing that. The company has an amazing return policy, just with that being said, but know that the ones that we have are from the Department of Defense. We bought their patent, or bought their recipe, I like to call it, and know the benefits are different. When you buy something that's bioidentical to what your body makes, then your body knows again to uptake it, and you're not going to get the side effects. If you have something that's not identical to what your body makes, you're going to have potential side effects that potentially could be toxic to it. I don't know the studies out there. Those are what my interpretations are. I'm just letting you know, but do know that we were first to market, which is very important to know that, and all the other ones came behind. So when we come forward saying nat means all natural, it means that it is all natural. It's what your body recommends, and that's why you feel it very quickly when you drink it. I didn't say that sentence correctly. I know somebody's going to come back and get that with me, but it actually just, what you'll notice is when you drink it, you get that feeling in your heads, because ketones have more oxygen, they have more ATP and more energy that your body's getting. Number 5, if you stop drinking the ketones, if you're using them for fat loss, and know that Pruvit is not a weight loss company, this is about energy for your body and your brain. And we know that, you know, back in the day, over 100 years ago, the ketogenic diet was designed for children who were non-responsive to epileptic medication. So we put kids on a ketogenic diet. So let's talk about that for a minute. Think if you're a parent, and there may be a parent on here, if you're a parent whose child is having 100 to 200 seizures a day, you're giving them every medication out there, and they were still having dozens to hundreds of seizures every day, and now you had to put them on a very restrictive diet, and there wasn't fast food back then. Grocery stores weren't open 24/7. There wasn't pre-made stuff out there. This was 100 years ago, and you had to actually lower down their carbohydrates. There were no apps to count them, and you had to lower that down to about 5%. So it was really just eating a few vegetables every day. But you didn't have a tool like ketones to help with the cravings, to help with satiety, which make them feel fuller longer. They weren't having any pie with the rest of the family. Back then, people did a lot of potatoes, rice, and bread because they were economical 100 years ago. Kids didn't have that. But think if they had a tool that would help them with cravings, that would help them feel fuller longer, that would actually calm down their nervous system, that could help them actually maybe increase their carb tolerance a little bit. It would be an amazing gift to their body. So I do get very passionate when people say, I don't understand why you would drink an exogenous ketone when your body can make it. Our bodies are not super healthy these days. When you look at the stats around the globe, how many people are obese? How many people have health challenges from A to Z? I'm not going to go around the list, but we know that anytime that your body has excess of anything, excess of sugar in the form of diabetes, excess of cholesterol, excess of fat, and fats store hormone. Each fat cell stores 170 different hormones. When you start losing fat, that has to go somewhere. It has to either be absorbed through the system somewhere, absorbed through the liver, absorbed through the intestines. It has to go out of the body somewhere, whether it's through sweat glands, whether it's through the toilet, has to go out somewhere. That's a lot of work on your body. And you're also, when you're losing that fat and the toxins in the cells, it's actually going to take some other important minerals and vitamins with it. So there's a lot of things going on, but I just really wanted to, I need to stop, have some misconceptions and really help clear the air about what exogenous ketones are and what they are not. They are not a Band-Aid, they're a tool, and they are used to actually an energy source for your body. When you give your body energy, and you give it extra oxygen and you give it ATP, because that's really the two things that your cells need, right? We need oxygen. If you don't breathe for more than just a few minutes, your body passes away. Oxygen's that important. And then your body needs water as well, H2O, so that's the oxygen that your body needs. And we know that ketones deliver about 38% more oxygen than glucose. So you're giving a superior oxygen to the cell at the cellular level. When you're giving your brain more oxygen, it starts talking to the other parts of the brain much better, like you start talking to the hypothalamus, to the pituitary. The pituitary releases a bunch of hormones to different types of glands, like the parathyroid, the thyroid, the adrenal glands, the kidney, the heart. So we have all these releasing hormones going on. So when you get there more oxygen and you get the communication between the different glands of the brains talking better and the organ systems all communicating much better, it's like clearing the highway open. It's like taking away all the road construction. Now everything can pass much better and talk to each other much better. So that's where we started with. We started with libido. We started with sex drive. Why does it get better when people go on a cleaner diet and take away toxic foods? Why does it happen on a ketogenic diet? Because when you remove the toxic food, the body starts being much clearer. When sugar excites the nervous system, we hear that all the time. It's been on the front of Time magazine. It's been on every major news station. When you overexcite or over-arouse the nervous system, it can't think clearly. We know the same thing happens, that when your body crashes from sugar, it becomes depressed, it becomes flaccid. Well, when you start talking about your hormone system being regulated, and it is very normal for someone to have a libido. It's very normal for the body to cycle and have a sex drive. When you calm down the nervous system so the body can relax and be intuitive of what is a normal cycle of the system, whether you're a male or a female, it makes sense. When you start eating cleaner, you start sleeping better, because ketones do help you sleep better. I've got a great video on that. If you need it, just put sleep down and I will connect you with one of the studies we have about sleep and being in ketosis when you go to sleep, that these are not misconceptions anymore. I don't know, people are listening to other people. There's a lot of noise out there anymore, which is exciting, because when there's a lot of noise about something, then we know that it's helping a lot of people out there. Billions of people out there are being helped by learning more about ketones, learning more about being on a ketogenic diet, a low carb diet, and drinking exogenous ketones. So quick review. You cannot eat just anything, and the fat is not going to fall off of you if you drink Pruvit's ketones. We want you to eat a whole food diet and drink exogenous ketones as an energy source to give your body better energy. So you feel better, you make clearer decisions, you feel fuller longer, and it helps control cravings. 2, it is not expensive pee. You're simply testing the gold standard of testing. Your body's excreting what it doesn't use, as it would on a natural ketogenic diet. Number 3, yes, you can still get the amazing benefits if you're already on a ketogenic diet if you add exogenous ketones to your already ketogenic diet. That's what I did. It actually amplified my already weak ketogenic diet and made it an amazing lifestyle. I want to say diet, it made my lifestyle much better and much more energy for me. Number 4, we know that not all ketones are the same. We know that we have an amazing gold standard of ketones. We have the world's only pure therapeutic exogenous ketones. Number 5, that if you stop drinking ketones, it's not about the fat coming back. If you stop drinking Pruvit's ketones, and if you're still on a ketogenic diet, your body will still continue to burn fat for fuel. If you stop drinking Pruvit's exogenous ketones and you're not on a ketogenic diet, your cravings could come back. You could experience, your sleep habits could come back. Your prior eating habits could come back. Satiety, which means you feel fuller longer, that could come back. But there are a lot of people who just use it as a tool. Like, I'm going to use it around the holidays to control craving. But really what happens is people fall in love with the way they feel when they drink it and they don't want to stop. Like, oh my gosh, I got somewhere and I forgot my ketones. Or I traveled this week and I forgot my ketones. Who here is in this city, in this state, and has them? Because people love feeling good. When you drink ketones and calm down the nervous system, you increase some neurotransmitters, which make you feel happier, more joyful. You just feel like, and this is true for people in a ketogenic diet as well, there's some neurotransmitters that get elevated and turned on, and people just feel great when they're not being driven by food. They're not being driven by hunger. They're not being controlled or consumed by food, or just being lethargic all the time, and they have energy to go play and do what they want to do and visit with their friends and go and do things. And when you sleep amazingly and wake up happy, it's just a better day for everybody. It truly is living your best life. So I want to know where you guys are joining me from. Thank you, Heidi, for joining me from BC. I will go back and answer some questions. I know that my salmon is about done, because that's what we are having for dinner. Let me know what you're having. Missy and Chiquita said they love the sleep. Oh, you guys want the sleep video? Yes, I'll get you the sleep video. If you want to know how to order Pruvit's exogenous ketones, please let me know. Put referrer code referrer code, and I will share my referrer code, which is Dr. Heather, Dr. Heather. I will get that to you because I don't want you to miss out. If you're a person who wants to feel better, who wants to feel happier, who wants to feel more joyful, maybe you're like me, maybe you had some movement disorders that was, I mean, they were embarrassing my kids. That's the only word I can use because I would see the look in my kids' eyes. And I would see what they would look at my husband like, what is happening with mom? And they're gone now. My tremors were at a 10 hertz. At 10 hertz, that's a pretty fast one. That's about this fast. And they're gone. And so many things have improved in my life. That I could probably talk forever about it. I don't know ever when to stop, but I love talking about other people as well. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for your questions. Hopefully I answered those questions about intimacy and about libido, because I do get those questions a lot. But the misconception questions, I definitely want to clear those up. There are no hormones in these ketones. No hormones in these ketones. They are an energy source that help your brain connect quicker and better. They don't slow down the connection. So that's why I talk faster and more articulate. People say they think quicker, they hear quicker, they see brighter, because when you're getting more oxygen at the cellular level, more gasoline at the cellular level, you're getting our brain energy juice. This is called brain juice, ketones at the level that our brain needs it. It's connecting much quicker. Then things start talking to each other much quicker. The brain is now talking, the hypothalamus to the pituitary is now talking to the adrenal glands, which is talking to the ovaries, which is talking to the testes, or talking to the adrenal glands, telling them what to secrete and when to secrete it. And everything starts magically working like it's supposed to work. Our bodies are supposed to work in homeostasis, which means in a natural rhythm where it's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be pharmaceutically induced to work in a rhythm. It's supposed to do it all by itself. Our body is its own pharmacy when you eat the proper food and give it the proper energy. So thank you guys for joining me here today. I'm sorry I have not made your kale chips. I bought kale and it went icky. And then we bought kale and we ate it as a salad because I didn't know I was going to make some kale chips for you all. So I'm sincerely sorry I've not yet made the kale chips or the radish chips. I will get those for you. Yes, Rhonda, brain juice. That's it. It is brain juice, brain gasoline, brain fuel, jet fuel. So thank you guys again for joining me. I will pop back and get your questions answered. If not tonight, then tomorrow. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful, amazing day. And thank you all for joining me. And this is absolutely meant to be shared. Any of the videos I always do is meant to be shared because it's your question that you've asked me here at Ask Dr. Heather. So, and don't forget, if there's other questions that you have, just put it in the search bar or hop over to my YouTube channel. Somebody asked me more about adrenals, thyroid. My YouTube channel is Ask Dr. Heather. My Instagram is Ask Dr. Heather. More about my amputation journey, about my leg, is Ampu Mom Keto Doc. That's also on Instagram. So it's more my story there. But thank you guys. Mike, good to see you. Rhonda, good to see you. Cindy, good to see you. You guys have an amazing, amazing day. Diane, I will get you that referral code as soon as we get done here. So you guys have a blessed day, and I'll check anybody else for that referral code. Have a beautiful day, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.